The lack of critical thinking among MAGA is just absolutely incredible. Think of this, they're posting everywhere saying that there's a report came out that Trump had called the police or made a report criticizing, condemning Epstein, and they assume that that means that Trump was then proven to be the good guy. But all through history, there's been all kinds of examples of criminals turning against other criminals. Babyface Nelson and Dillinger worked together as criminals. They were both bank robbers. They were both friends, but Dillinger grew to hate Nelson and turned against him. Al Capone and Bugsy Malone were competitors and fought against each other through their whole careers. One person turning against a criminal does not prove that that person who turned against them is actually a good guy. It might be just another criminal. And the fact that the Trump administration is protecting this whole class of criminals proves that they are absolutely corrupt. Even apart from the idea of whether or not Trump had committed some of those crimes himself, which there's evidence and there's a lot that needs to be investigated there. But the fact that his administration is not investigating all of these people who are implicated, despite testimony of witnesses and despite documentation that coincides with the testimony of all of those witnesses, and despite the idea that there would be all kinds of things that they could investigate, there's talk of bodies being buried in different places. Have they gotten warrants and have they dug up those places? There's evidence that Epstein had bought a lot of sulfuric acid, which could be used to actually dissolve bones, completely dissolve bodies. That needs to be investigated. What exactly happened with that sulfuric acid? The fact that his administration is just saying we need to just put this aside and move on.
And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax.
While they are actively fighting against and abusing protesters and people who are protesting the abuses of his government, proves that his administration is corrupt.